Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. It's time now for part 3 of our shipping container pick, which we took you on a bit of a journey. We went on a road trip, and if you don't remember, here's the container we were going through. It was actually on the neighbouring farm to where I grew up, so we know the family well, and it's an estate that ended up in the storage for a long time, a lot of old stuff out of the homestead. So we went through there and helped Ross out with what was worth anything and what probably he should do with the rest of it. And then we filled the van. As you can see, we got a lot of stuff in, packed all the chairs and a lot of other small stuff, a lot of boxes of knickknacks, and some of it we didn't know what was in the boxes. We just basically rummaged through and salvaged what we could. So with these picking videos, on part 1 and part 2, part 1 was actually at the property and loading up, and part 2 was going through all the stuff and processing it. Part 3 now, and I'll put the links to the other parts underneath, but part 3 now we'll get to the notepad and we'll run through some figures on how we did. We'll give you a top 10, which is becoming a bit of a tradition on these deals, and most people seem to like it. And then we'll just surmise how the deal worked out, and whether we made a lot of money or whether we're going to give some back to Ross. Okay, we itemised everything from the deal. It took us a while to process it all. In fact, the first part of this, you might have seen us with the background of paddocks that are quite dry and dusty, and it was in the middle of summer or late summer, and now all that countryside's quite green. It's starting to get cold and we're heading towards winter. Here's all the pages of stock that we've priced out. So it does take us a while to go through these deals. You can see we've actually sold quite a bit of stuff too. So we've got over 400 items, about 450 items we've individually coded, and some of which are multiple items under the one code. I think we found some comics and ended up doing quite well. We've sold a lot of those, and we put all them under one code. So there's a lot of items, and as I mentioned, it is getting colder now, and you might have seen in the introduction that I've got my heater going here. I've got a spot ready for Coco when she wants to have a nap, and yeah, I've thought I'd better film in my shed, even though it's rather disorganised. Apologies for that background and what you're seeing now. I've got so many things on the go here. I dream of one day having my shed organised, and look, if I do, I'll show it off, won't I? I'll let you guys know. So anyway, back to the figures. We've priced out all the stuff, and that total comes to approximately $7,500. Now, that's the total from what we estimated the prices at, and it does include some things that we sold on eBay that did quite well. So that's our potential return, but in reality, we never get full price on everything, and some stuff gets discounted, and some stuff gets, well, occasionally something gets stolen, which is terrible, but it does happen. So we're going to times that by 0.75 to give us 3/4 of that figure, which is approximately 5,600, and that's a realistic return for our investment. So let's boil those figures down a little bit more, and this formula I've referred to a lot of times, and I'm going to do a separate playlist on my entire business structure, how I run it, and I'll branch into lots of things, and one of those videos will be on this formula, so I can refer back to it. So we spent 60 hours approximately of labour, including all the time we spent going over there, sorting, packing, then coming back and processing and cleaning, and everything else that's involved. A lot of time at $50 an hour equates to $3,000. So that leaves a return of $2,600. Now, on our investment, we like to triple our money, so we're going to divide the $2,600 by 3, and that will give us around about $870. Now, I'm not sure if I even mentioned, we paid $1,000 for this deal, so we're actually paying over what I would like to pay as far as my formula goes, but it's only over by about $130, and what that tells me that we actually quoted pretty good, and quite often I can quote just from a gut feel, and usually I'm around about on the ball, unless there's something in a box that happens to go through the roof and do much better than I thought. And there was a recent video where I sold a camera that made a lot of money, and that was a surprise. So generally I find my quotes are pretty accurate. In this case, Ross was slightly better off than what I probably would have done on our formula, but we're happy with that because, as I said, you know, long-term family friend, that's more than acceptable. So that ends our figures. There won't be any extra money going to Ross, but he should be happy with his deal, and we're happy with what we got. We still have quite a bit to we still have quite a bit to sell, but we have sold a fair number. And there was some stuff I mentioned that did well on eBay, so we'll show you those in the top 10. So here we go, the top 10. First one was an eBay sale. This was a really nice chromed car mirror. I think it was off a Valiant or a Chrysler, probably 1960s by the look of the styling. It did really well on eBay. We pulled $100 for it. The condition was great, and it actually pivoted as such that you could have it on the driver's side or the passenger side. So $100 there. Number 9 was this little deco bookshelf. It's not a fantastic piece, but it was in good nick once we cleaned it up, gave it a bit of an oil. We put 110 on this in the shop. Sudan Art Deco collector, quite practical, solid timber, it's not plywood, and a nice etched door. Number 8, another eBay win. We sold this on eBay. It had multiple bids and it made 125. It's only EPNS, which is silver plate, but it was probably a trophy or a wedding gift or something, and it was unused. The case was a little grubby, but the actual cutlery was in great condition, and we thought it'd be worth throwing on eBay, and yes, it got a fair bit of interest. So 125 there. Number 7, some more silver plate. This is a bit earlier though. This is an Edwardian tea set with a sugar bowl and a milk jug. Really nice condition. We didn't even have to polish this. It's an English made Edwardians, probably around about 1910, so a genuine antique set. We put 130 on this one in the shop, and it looks absolutely magnificent, so that should sell quite well. At number 6, we have a 3-way tie. We have these nice circa 1920 or 30s dining chairs. There turned out only to be 9 of them. I thought there was 10. They were all in pretty good nick, and we did start them at $30 each, and we sold some, and the rest are down to 20, so they will add up to 220 for the lot, assuming we sell them all. Equal number 6 are these Peter's yogurt jars, although I think there's another brand in there as well. They're an Australian ceramic label jar, probably from the 1960s. We are fishing a little bit at $20 each, but they are bringing that on eBay every now and again. If we do sell them all at that, they will add up to 220, but we may end up discounting those. Now this one was another eBay win. This is a really nice, very heavy, early cast iron skillet or fry pan made by Holcroft in England. I believe these were given away with agar stoves in the 1930s, and the homestead did have an agar stove, so that's perhaps where it came from. And it made 220 on eBay. Very happy with that. Down to number 5 now. This little bunny knife, it's a Joseph Rogers bunny knife. This is a later one. It's got the plastic handles, but it's in absolutely mint condition. It was still in its plastic wrapper. We were very happy to find this. It was always going to be an eBay item, and that made $250 with lots of bidding. So that was a great little win just in the bottom of a box. It's always nice to find these things. A Joseph Rogers bunny knife. Number 4 is a multiplication job lot here. All these comics. The Joliffe comics are always very popular. The Foot Rod Flats are, have a fair following. We put $10 each on those. Some of the Joliffe ones we had 30, and there's assortment of other sort. They added up to 275 for the total of those comics, and we have sold well over half of those at the marked prices, so they're going quite well. Number 3, these beautiful tub chairs. Probably, I don't know, 1930s maybe. They are very comfortable. They sold the first weekend we had them out. We got 300 the pair. We possibly could have got a lot more for them, but we're pretty happy with that. Number 2 was the cameras, another job lot. There was quite a few cameras. We didn't have any priced individually over 100, but we had enough that they add up to 340 for the lot. And we have sold a couple of those already at marked prices. So they were pretty good, the cameras. And the number 1 spot is filled by this Royal Doulton dinner set. It's actually about 3 different dinner sets combined. There's so much of it, and it's pretty well all in great condition. There was very few damaged pieces, and you can see here that there's jugs and tureens and lots of teacups and saucers and plates. And even though English china isn't worth what it used to be, a good Royal Doulton pattern still has is still sought after, and we will get around 700 once we sell all the pieces of this. Probably will discount a few at the end, but that was the number one by far. Here's some we've already got in Christine's shop. So that was a great score, lots of it, and in good nick. So to finish up, we have a few honourable mentions that didn't quite make the top 10. The first one is this piano stool. We got $95 for this. It sold pretty quickly. And quite often I say to people that the piano stool is worth more than the piano, and usually that's the case. This one sold well. It was in good nick. Wasn't anything special, but it sold, and we got $95 for that. The next honourable mention goes to this spinning wheel. It needed a little bit of work. It was a little damaged when we found it, but I managed to repair it easily enough, and it still had the string with it. And as you can see here, it's actually still in operational condition. So that wasn't bad. They always look nice in the shops, these spinning wheels. And this one has sold already as well. We got 85 for this one. So I always like these things. They do add to the shop appeal. They look great sitting up on a table, and the kids are fascinated by how they work. So that made the list of honourable mentions. And the last honourable mention goes to this beautiful old clock. It's a Sessions mantle clock or kitchen clock. It was in terrible condition, and I only valued it at $50 on our books, but I did spend a fair bit of time cleaning the case up. I should have done a video on it. It cleaned up really well, and with a few adjustments it's running, and we've actually got $195 on it now. But as it was probably only a $50 clock. So that completes the top 10 and the honourable mentions list for this video, and that finishes up this shipping container treasure hunt. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the valuations and us taking the camera out with us when we're picking. We have another big deal on the way. In fact, we've nearly always got these house deals happening. And the beauty of it is that everyone's different. We never know what we're going to find in the next box. And look, I love my job. It's a great way to make a living. And I'm happy to take you guys along with us. Christine's a great help. She loves it too. And yeah, even Coco's getting in on it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, and we'll probably have another one coming soon. Bye.